You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
So Walmart and Kroger, they've raised their at-home COVID test prices after the White House agreement expires. I didn't know we had one. I wasn't aware. I wasn't made aware. You probably weren't either. But now when you go to get those tests, you're like, what? Why is this more expensive? That's what we're going to find out today. We're going to find out the details. Why are we talking about this on a real estate podcast? Well, the whole COVID thing, the number of cases that are out there right now, just about everybody at some point is needing to take an at-home test because you don't have the time, or maybe you don't have scheduling to get to the test center to get the official test where they send it into a lab and come back. Some of the wait times on that right now have just been horrific. I've seen up to like 4 hours people have stood in line. So meanwhile, we've got this total bottleneck on getting testing done officially. We've got these at-home tests that the prices are going up on because the White House didn't extend out a deal. Now, to me, these tests should be free. You should be able to get these tests free. And that's where we're headed. But to me, the real issue is by the time we actually get these tests, the most recent variant, the omicron, is going to be done. It's going to have worked itself out, right? That's just how these things go. So it's like a day late, $1 short. All right, enough of that. Enough of my commentary up front. Let's jump on into it. Before we do, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies, and I read the news from that perspective. Today, we're reading about why your testing has gone up for COVID. And I've got some personal input to give here too. So Walmart and Kroger raised the price of Abbott's at-home COVID-19 test kit after an agreement with the White House to sell the tests at a reduced price expired, the company said. The government should just be buying these tests and handing them out willy-nilly. If you want to get a test, if you want to do a test, I say you do it because, does it hurt anybody? No, you're not reporting the results to anybody. They may or may not be accurate depending on how much viral load you have. There's all kinds of things that go into it. Where you sit within your COVID process kind of determines how these at-home tests, the accuracy of them. I've heard, other storylines indicating maybe some of the tests aren't as accurate with the new variant, the Omicron. It's kind of unknown, how that looks. We just don't have enough data on any of this stuff. But in the meantime, the tests are going up in price pretty significantly, percentage-wise, on something that should be free anyway. And yet, because we can't seem to get together a concerted effort on testing or anything else with this whole process, we were told by the current administration that they were going to stamp it out. They were going to eradicate it, right? It's just COVID was going to be gone. It doesn't look like that has worked out, has it? And that's not where we sit. In fact, we sit with record number of cases right now. Granted, hospitalizations and, people getting really, really sick, those numbers are way down, but cases have just skyrocketed. But we're not supposed to be looking at the number of cases right now. Don't look at the number of cases. Now we look at hospitalizations and death rates. Okay, that's what we're being told. The Binax Now kit, one of the first at-home tests to be authorized by the federal government, was listed on Walmart's website Tuesday for $19.88, up from $14 last month. Kroger lists the tests for $23.99. All right, so I have used the Binax Now kit. I think I was 7-0. This is a sport. Taking this test is a sport. So I was 7-0. I was undefeated until I wasn't. And, and so I got COVID, basically started showing symptoms on December 21st. And then I got pretty sick. I had really bad head cold. If you haven't followed my podcast before, you haven't seen me before, I've been talking about it over the last week or so. I got pretty sick. I got a pretty bad head cold, but it wasn't much more than a really serious head cold. A couple of times I was like, if this gets any worse, I might actually think about calling my doctor. But, I wasn't like, get me to the hospital. I was like, I feel really crappy. And if this doesn't ease up, yeah, maybe I'll think about calling my doctor. But yeah, it was one of those things. So I have taken a whole bunch of the Binax Now kits, tests. I think I had 2 of the tests where you go through the drive-through, maybe 3 of those. So maybe I've taken 4 Binax Now tests. No, I think I've taken 5 or 6 now because I wanted to make sure that after I had the symptoms and kind of basically got better. All right, am I showing up a negative? Who knows if it's a false negative? Don't know. But you take that test and you can tell people, I tested negative, which you did. Okay. And so we ordered up a few of these tests and we were told, hey, Walmart's got them. And this was on this past Monday, a couple of days ago. And so we had a link sent to us from a friend. And that link was for $14. The test kit was for $14. When we actually went on Monday to buy the test kit, it was up to $19.88. So that price happened right after the 1st of January. That price increase happened. And Kroger is even more at $23.99. Now, we tried to buy 5 kits which have 2 tests each in them. So we would have had 10. My thought was, you know what? This thing's going to be around for a while. You might as well get some tests because it seems like every time we turn around, hey, we don't have one. And when that happens, you need one. It's not like you need a test when you're feeling great and there's nothing going on. You might have that if you've been exposed, if you've known to be exposed to somebody, but so much of this stuff going on right now, it's just a big guessing game, right? I might have it. I might be contagious. I don't really know. So we tried buying a handful of tests, came down to we could only buy 2 test kits. So we've got 4 tests coming, 2 test kits, but that's our kind of personal experience is that this article is literally happening. It's unfolding, in front of us. And yet then we've got the whole 500 million test kits coming. You're going to be able to, get them in the mail from the government. 500 million test kits coming sometime in January. All right, but that doesn't really help this Omicron spike, does it? Because by the time that happens, by the time you request something, by the time they mail it out, this variant's going to basically blown itself out. That's kind of what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm reading. So President Joe Biden announced the agreement with Walmart, Amazon, and Kroger in September, saying it was part of his administration's plan to ramp up testing and better detect and control the coronavirus variant that then posed the greatest danger, the Delta variant. All right. But to me, this is a worldwide pandemic. You should be handing these test kits out like candy because people need them. And that's why we're covering this on a real estate podcast. Because this is one of those things where it's like, why can't I get a test kit? You go to the store, and I think we've all been down that road. If you haven't, congrats, you're the exception. Just about everybody I know, you do that. Okay, I can't get a test kit. Who do I know that has one that said if I needed one, I could get one? And I did that, during the Christmas break. Couple of times, picked up a couple of tests from various people I knew and, in my small circle. Hey, do you have a test kit? I think I need to use one. I'm not feeling great. And I was exposed to a lot of people. This may not go in the right direction. Literally, you have that talk, right? And then you're like, okay, yep. Actually, the first test that I took after I showed symptoms, it was a negative. I tested negative, and, one of 2 factors. Either it was too early on for the test to detect it, or it was just a, false negative, or these tests didn't catch the variant that I had, which was Omicron, I believe, based on all the symptoms and all the stuff. So the 3-month agreement to sell the tests at cost expired last month, just as the new Omicron variant began advancing quickly across the U.S. A spokeswoman said in an email Tuesday that unlike other retailers, Walmart continued selling the product for $14 through the holidays. So they were actually giving us a bonus, is what we're being told, which, I mean, man, we if you need these, you need these. I'd rather go to the drive-through or whatever. But, it's been virtually impossible to get into these clinics unless you're just literally dying, and that's all you have time for. And so I did just that. I waited an hour and a half on Christmas Eve to get through the drive-through testing center, and that was basically the highlight of my Christmas Eve. I then went home and felt sorry for myself because I knew I had, the terrible head cold of Omicron. So we have seen significant demand for at-home COVID-19 testing kits, and we are working closely with our suppliers to meet this demand and get the needed product to our customers, she said, adding that inventory has remained stronger in stores than online. So I have become the master at finding test kits in stores, but it is a real hunt and peck. And then you got to call, and then you got to immediately jet down to the store because they will get 15 or maybe 30 of these test kits in, and they will sell out within like 15 minutes. It's just, it's insane because everybody's like, I need those. The kits, which include 2 test kits each, were listed as sold out on the Walmart and Kroger websites Tuesday. I'm recording this for you on a Wednesday. Still sold out. In a statement, Kroger said it had fulfilled its commitment to the Biden administration and had reinstated retail pricing. Okay. Yeah. I'm having a hard time paying for these test kits, but, I guess the convenience, but then you've also got the fact that we know these aren't as accurate. And how about the fact that maybe I don't want to jam that thing up in my nose and swirl around as many times as I actually need to because my nose is already on fire. You know what I mean? You got that stuff going on. I just feel better about going in and doing one of the drive-through testing or testing from I have done more than that testing because I went to Hawaii a couple of times and had to have these tests done. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it all becomes a blur after a while. But I believe at this point in time, I am 8-1. That's my record. And if you're going to put it in sports terms, 8-1. So still a solid record. But that one, it was painful. Do not recommend. Wouldn't want to see you get it. Wouldn't want to see you even get close to getting it. And I had the, pretty mellow symptoms, just bad sore throat, head cold, congestion, coughing. Initially, I had sneezing. I did a lot of sneezing, and I was like, this is weird. What's going on there? Now I have an exhaustion, and I still have that. I can't get out of bed in the morning. It takes me literally like an hour of resetting the alarm. I'm just like, oh, not good. But I got to come in and podcast. So I got to figure something out. So eventually I get my rear end in here and, provide some content because this is what life is all about. And, the other major thing that I've had recently that's really been impacting me is that, I don't have an appetite. It's not that I lost taste and or smell. It's that I wake up and I am absolutely starving. I mean, that starving where your stomach is just telling you that, we're eating ourselves up right now. And then I will go to eat a normal sized breakfast for me. And I can hardly get a couple of bites down. Like today I got 1 egg down and I got 1 piece of toast, 30 grams of protein, some vitamins. And I was like, almost ready to not keep it down. And so that's been my experience. And I know I'm just running a massive calorie deficit, but it's like, okay, I just need to work my way through this until I get to a point where I can eat again. Fortunately, I'm not super, super skinny, so this doesn't really impact things negatively. Still got enough body reserves where I'm gonna make it. But here I am, week or so well past any of the major symptoms, and I'm still on the struggle bus. And that's the story for a lot of folks. But if you're on the struggle bus for these test kits, they just got a little more expensive. So let's finish out here. So the White House could not be reached for comment. Shocking. No. Yeah. The White House has got a lot on their hands right now. They got a lot on their plate, right? They're just juggling things left and right. And every single time you turn around, the White House has got something going sideways for them. It's just like, is anything ever going to go the right direction for this administration? It's hard to say. And then you see posts like the administration will roll out This has been the best economic position that an administration's been in after year one ever. You're like, oh, that's interesting. That is probably not my perspective, but everybody's got their right to their own opinion and you can self-promote. But yeah, I don't really see it that way. And you probably don't either. Biden said last month that the administration plans to ship as many as 500 million free test kits to people who request them through a website, a plan experts said will require significant scaling up. All right, if you're going to hand out 500 million of anything, that is a massive scale. 500 million? 500, 500 million. We're going to send out 500 million test kits. All right, so where are you going to get the workers to send, not workers, sorry, I am not supposed to say workers anymore. I apologize. We're not going down that road. Where are you going to get the employees? I don't know why I say workers, because I think worker bee, the hive, the colony. I don't mean that word derogatory, even though it comes from more of a socialist background. I understand that now. Where are you going to get the employees to ship out 500 million free test kits? Scaling up, significant scaling up? Yes. Are you going to bring in the National Guard to send these out? I don't know. So that's why I think it's important to understand, hey, pricing's going up because you're going to have to continue paying for these bad boys. It's going to be a while before you get these mailed to you from some website. Can you imagine that website? I mean, we tried to do the healthcare website and that thing just blew up time and time again when it was launched, right? And now you've got free test kits for something people actually need. I mean, this is significant. People need to know, all right, should I be staying at home? To me, I don't use it as an absolute, these at-home test kits. I use it as more of kind of like Zillow for property value. I use it as a starting point. All right, this one said it's positive, or all right, it says negative, but I still feel crappy. I think I'm going to go get a real test. That's literally what we're doing, right? But don't worry. The administration officials have said that they expect the first batch of said free test kits to ship sometime this month, in January. All right, so we're going to get some free test kits. In the meantime, you're going to have to pay, and now you're going to have to pay a scooch more. And that's what we're overlooking here is that these test kits are basically sold out everywhere, all the time. They come in and boom, they're gone. So it's kind of like masks at the beginning of the pandemic. Are people going to be selling these test kits for huge money on Amazon? I've already seen that. It kind of comes and goes. I think Amazon tries to do a good job of, not having test kits on there for $1,000 or something, ridiculous like that. But, you got to be honest. It's a supply and demand. And if the demand is there, that price is going to be high. But if you're looking to buy them on the cheap from Walmart and Kroger, it's going to be about $5 more now. And you know what? I would still probably buy them if they were available, but they're not. So this whole cluster just keeps going forward, doesn't it? You're like, okay, we're going to just keep taking the whacks for now. And, this is where we sit. So, that's my COVID coverage for this week. Basically not talking about it anymore, other than me feeling sorry for myself, which I do. But you know what? I said enough stuff where I'm like, all right, that's probably my karma. I got what I deserved. So, you got to take your lumps when you are due. And if you're not realistic about being due, I tested the limits quite a few times. I traveled, I went to concerts, I did all kinds of stuff. And then I got shellacked in the end. It happens. So if you're going to take the risk, sometimes you're going to pay. I've been paying. All right. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for supporting the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. Catch up with you soon. All right. Talk then. Bye for now.